Sup guys, Overdove here. Today we're gonna be farming for the potential airdrop of the Scroll. Scroll is an EVM equivalent ZK rollup to scale Ethereum. Company recently raised second funding round and currently sits at 80 million in funding with 1.8 billion evaluation. Crazy evaluation for that amount of funding. As for the chain, it recently went from pre-alpha testnet to alpha testnet, and the mainnet launch is scheduled to Q4, but that of course can change. And before we begin, as usual, some disclaimers. First of all, this is not a financial advice, always do your own research. Second of all, there is no guarantee that the airdrop will happen in the future. Then, even if the airdrop will happen in the future, there is no guarantee that the steps that we do in this video will make us eligible. And lastly, all the information and links in this video and description provided as is, so use it at your own risk. Okay, now let's start. Here we have the main site. For wallet, we're going to be using MetaMask. We don't need anything else. On the main website, we click this button, and here we can add the test nets to the MetaMask. I already did that. And then we need to go to the bridge and bridge some assets. As you can see here, we're gonna bridge from Girly to Scroll Alpha Testnet. For that, obviously, you need Girly ETH. You can get it from Girly Faucets in small quantities. And as usual, by the way, all links are gonna be in description. Or you can buy it at Testnet Bridge here, paying a couple of bucks. There is a third option. There is one native faucet that I found on Scroll that you can use once per week. And you can technically skip the bridge. But since bridging is such an essential part of transactions, you really don't want to skip that. Okay, we're gonna bridge some ETH here. I did this transaction earlier today and took several minutes. As you can see, I bridged one ETH. While it's bridging, I'll show you this faucet where you can get 0.1 ETH on Scroll directly, pretty much. So it's called an open block and it's basically a wallet, and you need to register. And to do that, you come here, you verify your email address, and basically you get into the interface, which gonna look like this pretty much. And here you need to edit your list of coins. At the very bottom you can find Scroll L2 test. You need to turn that on, and then this coin will be in your wallet. And there is a claim ETH button, then you can press and it will send you 0.1 ETH, but you can only do that once per week. And then once it's in your wallet, you can use send function to send it into your MetaMask address. And I almost forgot that it's also a good idea to bridge back a small amount of ETH, just a little bit, bridge it from Scroll to Girly. There can also be a delay in changing the status of transactions, so if you think it's taking too long, just check your MetaMask. Maybe it already arrived, it's just not changing the status. Once our assets are bridged, we can go do some transaction on DEXs. But first, if you want, you can use this faucet as well. It will give you 500 USDC tokens on the testnet, and it also has link to the Uniswap where we need to go next. And here we just need to connect our wallet. Make sure you're on Scroll Alpha, then we're gonna wrap some ETH. Basically the functionality is very limited. You can just swap some tokens here and then add to the pool. One positive thing about adding to the pool is that you can basically create any pool, even with the tokens that you create or use somebody else's token. It just doesn't matter. Transactions are very fast usually. So as you can see, if you don't want to use that faucet for USDC, you can just swap small amount of ETH to get some USDC as well. Now let's go to the pools. I already tried to do this today, but we're gonna create new position and we're gonna go with ETH and USDC. For the simplicity, pick 0.3 and then click full range, so it's automatically assigns range. Here we just need a small amount. I'll do 1000 USDC. It's gonna be a little bit of ETH. We need to confirm. As you can see, it says transaction completed in 8 seconds. So again, it's very fast. And now we have another pool here. And next, what we're gonna do here, we're gonna remove the sum of liquidity right away. Let's remove half. just to do this transaction. We're done with the Uniswap for now, and let's move on to SyncSwap. Again, connecting our wallet. Make sure that you're on a Scroll Alpha. And here we also have a faucet. Now this faucet, as far as I understand, you can only use it once. I already used it, but all you need is to retweet one of their tweets, and then you can claim it. You will pay a small gas fee, but you will get a bunch of tokens. Like as you can see, like Frax, USDT, SyncSwap test tokens, Aave, and so on. So a lot of tokens that you can play with within this DEX. If you want, you can also add them to MetaMask. For that, you need to click on this button next to ticker and then press add to wallet. I already did that. So first of all, use the faucet, and then we're gonna do several transactions here. It doesn't matter which tokens you swap in. And also what's funny here, you can actually swap these tokens for the test ETH. Yeah, so just do several transactions here, and then we're gonna move to pools, and we're gonna add liquidity. Once this is completed, go to pools, positions, then we go to new position. Pool type doesn't matter. Pool tokens, we're gonna use ETH and I don't know, I'll use USDT. There's also functionality to add LP address to your wallet. Well, I'm not gonna do that. We go to deposit. So here let's add, for example, 1000 USDT with some ETH. And same as on Uniswap, we're gonna remove some of that liquidity right away. What's good for SyncSwap, we're gonna have a bunch of tokens that we can play around. After we're done with the initial batch of transactions today, when you come back from time to time, it's easy to just get on SyncSwap and do some swaps, add some liquidity, remove some liquidity. Now we click withdraw, again 50%. You need permit LP token, and then withdraw liquidity. Next up we have Guild.xyz page, where you can get the mystery role on Discord. To be eligible, your Twitter account has to be older than October 1st, 2022. You need to follow ScrollZKP on Twitter, and also you need to be in Discord, obviously, and pass the verification. That should be pretty easy. And now let's move on to more complicated stuff. We're gonna deploy smart contract and deploy token on chain, and for that we're gonna be using separate guides. Again, the code that is provided here, use it at your own risk. For me personally, it looks fine. I'll just show the whole process here. So what we need to do, we need a new file. You can name it any way you want, but it has to be .sol. You get into editor. First of all, we're gonna deploy a contract. So from the link to this contract deployment guide, we need to copy the code, paste it here, click OK. Then we need to compile it. Go in here, use the latest available compiler. In this case, it's gonna be 8.19. Click compile. If you see the green check mark, means you're good. Then we go in here, deploy and run. Here we need to select the MetaMask, inject the provider MetaMask. And here you're supposed to see your wallet address. And as you can see here, your contract name is function types in the file ttt.sol. We can click deploy, and we need to sign this. And now we'll wait. Once you get the message with this green check mark, means it's completed. And now we also need to verify this contract on chain. For that, you need to, if you open your MetaMask in activity, you're gonna see contract deployment transaction, which is already good by itself. Then we click view on block explorer, and we go to the scroll explorer. And here you can see this contract address that has been created. We click on it. And here we go to code, and there is a button verify and publish. Use this one via flattened source code, and that's what we need to do here. The contract name has to be exactly as your contract in the code. In this case, you can see it's a function types. It's not the name of the file, it's the name of the contract. So we can copy paste that. Here you click no, the compiler, you need to select the same version that we used, in this case 8.19. The AVM version is gonna be default. Optimization, put no, and here enter the Solidity contract code. You need to copy paste the whole code from the file. Don't have to change anything else here. We click verify and publish, and as you can see, now this contract has the check mark near the code, and now you can actually read it and you can write it. And next we need to implement our own token. We're going back to the remix, again creating file, let's call it token.sol, and here we need to copy the code from the second guide. It's called deploy token. Fortunately can't use Control A here. Again, we paste it here, click OK. Same thing, use latest compiler, compile it, get the check mark, then go in here, click in MetaMask, checking that we have our wallet address here. But before we click deploy, we need to set our name of the token and the symbol. I'm just gonna call it test3t, and symbol gonna be TTT. Then we're gonna click transact, sign the MetaMask, and wait. Now it's been completed, and now here you can see deployed contracts. And also if you click on open it, you have the methods here. On one of the method is mint. You can mint tokens. Don't click on mint directly, click here to open it, and then we need to put the amount in a certain way. Again, open the guide. You can copy paste this to here, and then here you click transact, and it should mint your tokens. Again, we have to sign MetaMask, and we're gonna wait for the green checkbox to appear again. Okay, it's done. What you can do now, you can actually add this token to a MetaMask. Again, you see deployed contracts, we click copy, and then we go to our MetaMask, assets, import tokens. We're gonna put it here. As you can see, it automatically detects that it's our token with the ticker TTT. Adding custom tokens, a bunch of those, importing. And as you can see, we have, how much is that? 18 million TTT tokens. But actually what we can do with our token now, we can go back to Uniswap and we can provide liquidity. We can put TTT, and let's just say against USDC. And it says that this pool must be initialized before you can add liquidity, because there is no such token that we created on exchange, obviously. So we're gonna set the initial price of 100 TTT. Here, for example, we can put some range that this price is sitting inside of. So in my case, it's gonna be 80 to 120. And for example, I wanna add like 1,000 USDC, which means I'm also adding 122,000 of TTT tokens. And we need to approve our token using default. Waiting for the transaction. Now you click preview and add. And if everything goes well, we'll have our own pool of USDC to TTT. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, so these will be the steps that I recommend doing today, but what we're gonna do going forward. Actually, today the company added this ecosystem page, and as you can see here, a bunch of apps. Unfortunately, as of now, pretty much none of those apps actually work on Scroll Alpha testnet. So they're gonna be definitely working in the future. Basically, the plan is, for now, you can just use, for transactions, you can use A, bridge, B, I mean, if you like that sort of stuff, you can play with deploying your own smart contracts, tokens, etc. But if you just want to do a couple transactions and basically be done, I would recommend just when you come back, just do some transactions on SyncSwap, and that's it basically. Like add liquidity, remove liquidity, it doesn't matter. Also use the faucet that I showed you to get 0.1 ETH weekly. That's also great for clicking a few buttons, in my opinion. And then we need to basically pay attention to the announcements and what's gonna go live, because once these applications go live, we need to go and do transactions on them. When they're gonna go functional, we don't know yet, but just like keep an eye on this page. It's also gonna be in description. That's it for this video. If you found it helpful, please drop a like, consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you next time.